There is only one system that is responsible for exactly where you are in your life right now. Whether you absolutely despise where you are or you are in love with your current state of life, there is only one system that is responsible for your life. Now, I'm going to tell you all the systems that are not responsible before I get to the one that is. Right? So we have a system of injustice or a system of, let's say, inequity, right? That's not the system. A system of racism. Oh, I know you're gonna look. Oh, but you don't understand. Trust me, I get it. I'm just the bearer of the information. Don't come for me. And if you're gonna come for me, then it ain't gonna get too far because I'm not gonna engage it. A system of racism is the reason why I am where I am right now. No, it's a system of sexism. On either side, by the way. Y'all red pillars? Oh, it's women's. No. The one system that is responsible for where you are in your life at this very moment is your belief system. That's right. Your belief system. Now, the reason why we don't like to look at this system, we don't like to publicize this one, we don't like to, politicize this one, is because it only has to do with the individual. The belief system can't be targeted externally. And so it doesn't serve our need to point blame to somebody else in order to, remove that essential sense of responsibility over ourselves. It is far easier to place responsibility on the government than it is on the dude that I look at in the mirror every morning when I brush my teeth. It is way easier. Trust me, I've done it for years and it was so much simpler. It was so much more straightforward. Yet, for some reason, I always ended up in a place where I did not want to be. Imagine that. Imagine that. Now, here's the thing, right? I'm not over here to shame anybody or to make you feel some type of way. If you do feel some type of way based upon my opinion, then that is that's a personal thing. That has nothing to do with me. But I'm gonna speak that truth. I'm gonna say it as it is, and that truth is this: so long as we do not make the decision to change what we believe, which means our convictions, which means the thoughts in which we engage on a moment by moment, day by day basis, which means, yes, those last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 videos that you just watched. Yes, those last 3, 4 conversations that you just had. Yes, the conversations that you're continuously having with yourself. So long as you do not consciously and intentionally change that, you're going to get the very same results out of your life. I'm telling you right now. They're telling you need to go protest. You need to go protest your own damn self. You understand me? You can go out there with a sign all day long. Fight for blah, blah, blah. Fight for blah. I promise you, you will be blue in the face before you get to a place where your life actually has a significant change. And again, these words, which still ring true and will forever ring true from an individual that many looked up to, even social activists, etc., be the change you want to see in the world. We somehow missed the mark on that. We somehow, took that to mean, oh, if I want to change the world, I must change the world. Yeah, you must change your world because that is the world. Your perception creates your reality. What you are experiencing as life right now is based upon your own perception. The difference between poverty and wealth is a point of perception. I'm about to get myself in hot waters today. Uh-oh. But I'm there. I'm already here. No, I'm already here. It's too late. We're too far gone. Sorry, folks. Not sorry, folks. We're here. The difference between misery and contentment, or suffering and peace, chaos and peace, is a state of perception. How do I know this? Because there are individuals who have been in environments that were absolutely chaotic, yet they experienced an inner peace that permeated their lives. In the midst of a war zone, there have been individuals who experienced peace that most people who have never been in an environment anywhere close to what they're in right now could ever fathom. This is coming from a guy who was born and essentially raised in a third world country, quote unquote third world country, developing country. I was born in Zimbabwe, country with about 80% unemployment till this day, right? It was something we can't even fathom over here in the West. And, we always hear these stories of like, oh, people go to these third world countries and people are so much happier even though they have nothing. Well, there is a truth in a lot of that, because the perception of the people there is, well, we have everything we need. So, we're not consistently chasing this false idea that's been sold and marketed to us. So there is that aspect. However, it goes to show you that there is a decision made. So you think that you not having the latest phone and the latest car and this type of job and this type of person, whatever it is, you believe that those are the things that bring satisfaction and fulfillment in your life because you've been sold that lie. You've been conditioned to believe that. I'm not anti-materialist, by the way. I'm not anti-stuff. I'm not. I believe you should experience the fullness of this physical reality. That's just me. I believe you should become as wealthy as you can be so you can be a greater benefit to self and others. Yes, including yourself. I did say self in that. That's right. Self too. If you weren't pissed off before, you're probably pissed off at this point. So we're going to keep going. We're going to keep digging that thing through. Those individuals who, we hear stories about, oh, they're so much happier, but yet they have nothing. Your perception is that they have nothing, right? Because what they have is their everything. Until they get exposed to something else and they repeat the message, create the belief system that they do not have enough, that's what will create that deficit or that lack. And that's what a majority of us are experiencing. There is a belief, a conviction that has been sold to us over a lifetime that we are not enough, that we are not deserving, that we are not worthy, and that we will never have or be enough. Yep, that was a good one. That ends up materializing itself as our life experiences, where there always feels as if there is a deficit. We can only see the gap, right? You got a donut and all you can see is the hole. Well, there's just a hole here. Do you not see around the hole? There's a whole ass donut right there. Now, I'm not an advocate of donuts. I'm not an advocate of sugar at all. Cut sugar completely out of my life. Shout out to that. But, you catch my drift. You get the analogy. We can fixate permanently on what is not there as opposed to what is, and it brings about a level of suffering, and it brings about the very thing that we fear most, a deficit, not enoughness. When you're conditioned to believe that you do not have enough, you will always perpetuate that very same belief system. Here's an example, and I was having this conversation with Bay today. I was having this conversation with Jazzy. I said, well, actually, she shared with me her experience. I'm not going to share this one, right now because, everything ain't to be shared. But basically, it's this idea of, when we have a belief about something, let's say money, we have a belief in scarcity and not enoughness. And we believe that we are not enough, right? Because that's really the root of that belief system. If we were given money, we would find ways to get rid of it. And I told her the story of, Mike Tyson, who made over $300 to $400 million within his career. Adjusted for inflation is probably like $600 million at the very least, right? This man not only lost everything, but he went in debt by the end of his career. Imagine that. He went from being $600 million up in today's money to being in debt. Now, y'all would think he's such an idiot. How could he? But let's be real. You over there who's sitting over there, just basically adjust that. The amount that you have right now, just multiply by, a million. Let's say you got $1,000 in your savings account, which the average American doesn't even have, sadly enough. But let's say you have $1,000 in your savings account right now at this very moment in time. And you multiply that by a million, right? If you are not able to be fiscally responsible with that $1,000, $1 billion could hit your account and you would find a way to to blow it into thin air. I guarantee it. 75% of professional athletes go broke 5 to 10 years after their careers, after millions of dollars. Not too far off with entertainers, depending on which sector of entertainment. Not too far off with lottery winners, where it's probably even a higher percentage. And it's not because these people are so dumb and we would have made better decisions. It's because they have a belief system that does not allow them to perpetuate a state of wealth. Simple as that, but also as complex as that, right? And so we have to start looking at the right problems. We have to stop externalizing the blame. I honestly, I can see this as, well, at least my personal reality is what I'm seeing is that people finally starting to wake up to this thing that we call personal power and what it truly means. Not this false sense of power that we were shown by those who are looking to have power over others. Not this false sense of power or empowerment of, you should just give your body away to anybody and anything. Like, I'm not talking about those false representations. I'm talking about the real Slim Shady, please stand up. The real version of power, which is knowing that you have control over your own personal life experience. The results and the outcomes that you get in this life are based upon the self. Now, I'm not just talking about physical action, though that is a large part of it. I'm talking about the software, which is the belief systems that most of them have been conditioned by the time you're 6 to 7 years old. And for most people, they don't even revisit a majority of those. They just continue to perpetuate them and take them into life and never question them. And we have to get to a place where we question them, as opposed to bypassing them, as opposed to pinning them on the damn donkey, giving them to everybody else, as opposed to looking them square in the face and saying, hey, you, I got to deal with you. I got to confront you. I'm no longer willing to live this way. I'm no longer willing to perpetuate this very same story. I know it's easier to blame. I know it's easier to pin it on some external system, when in truth, there is only one system that I have complete control over, and it's the only one that matters. God, honest truth, you can be in the middle of a third world right now, and if you have a level of belief and conviction that is beyond the surroundings that you're in, you are going to find yourself pulled out of that environment and into one. And this ain't just some he say, she say. No, this ain't no cute story. This is real life. I am a byproduct of that. My family is a byproduct of that. You understand me? Those who were taken out of that environment and placed in another because they had a certain level of consciousness were a byproduct of that. But there was a decision that had to be made somewhere. You can be the decision that changes your entire family lineage. But so long as you continue to blame it on these systems, I'm not saying that racism ain't real. I'm not saying that there aren't bigots and ignorant individuals. I'm not saying that there aren't those who are sexist and view themselves as superior because of their gender and their genitalia. I'm not saying that's not the case. What I'm saying is that true transformation comes from within ourselves. And I'm not talking about the airy-fairy, just go within. I'm talking about some real serious shadow work. I'm talking about facing and confronting those stories that you believe throughout your life and reversing those stories and doing whatever is necessary to overcome those belief systems. That's what I'm talking about. Not just, on paper. We love to put it in our bio, on our Instagrams or on our TikToks or whatever it may be as our description, but is it describing who you are within yourself? That's all that matters. And so I will say this one more time before we close is the only way in which you're going to get yourself out of the system is by going into this system. And you had to adjust the system and you will overcome any other external system that might be placed in your way. They do not have the power. You have the power. But so long as you blame them, you give them the power. Simple. I used to be afraid of the dark, a place unknown like a hardening heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2 step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's not. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again.
I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night.
I know the time is taking. A 365, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up. You know them constellations. Constantly